really false. They are not the right, because the Bible, people, preachers and all that will divert your mind to think that they are the false prophet and all that. But I went through, when you tell me things, I really go through myself and I realize that no, they are not necessarily so. Nothing suggests directly that they are. If you read some of the things in the Quran book right now, they even convert themselves to say that the followers of Jesus was Muslims. They even suggest that in the Quran book. You know, they suggest that even in the Quran book, that the followers of Jesus were even what do you call it? They were Islam, Muslims. Now, what would you have to say about that? Not much. It is their book, and they present it as they see fit. If you go to read the book of the Quran, you will realize that these things are there. It's not about me making it up or saying that, hey, this is what the book says, so you have to, Now, it is something that we are meant to sort of look into and accept as being the word of God. And the Islamic people have got their book and also have to accept it as the word of God. But they have got their own presentation and their own version. It becomes silly if they come together and say, oh, okay, let's accept we are all worshiping the same God. They are not. They are deluding themselves. They are not worshiping the same God. It is not about the same God issue. No. If they think that they are worshiping the same God, they're making a fool out of themselves. It is not the same God. They may have believed in something, but whatever they believe in is definitely not the same thing. Because the same thing make them look ridiculous. The book suggests clearly that the followers of the believers were Muslims. And I'll try to find out and let you also read yourself, and you will see that some of the things that these things have been suggested, are they really what they are? I mean, you make your mind up to find out the truth yourself. Is it for real? Is it real? One in, let's say, Surah 111. No, is it Surah I? I as in I. The letter I. Which is 3. So in Surah 3, if you were to read Surah 3:50, I think it's 52. Surah 3, 50, 52. Surah 3:52. If I start from 51, it says, "It is God who is my Lord and your Lord. Then worship him. This is a way that is straight." This is the way that is what? Straight. When Jesus found, this is 52, Surah 3, verse 52, 5:2. When Jesus found unbelief on their part, he said, "Who will be my helpers to the work of God?" Said the disciples, "We are God's helpers. We believe in God, and do thou bear witness that we are Muslims." You understand? Bear witness that we are Muslims. So in their version of explanation and version of presentation, they are now presenting that the Muslims were Muslims. Now, let's ask ourselves, was Jesus a Muslim? I don't think so, but Muslim is not like maybe Muslim, a definition is like a group of people and a way of worship. That can be the thing. That time, the way of worship is the true way to serve God. That is what the Muslim are trying to say. With the Muslim definition, it sort of define, like you say, Christendom. It defined the group of people who have got a way of worship, and that way of worship is what make them become Muslims, or make them be Muslims. So, like, the disciples were worshiping the way the Muslims worship today. That's how they were worshiping God. That's the idea. Not necessarily the tribe or the Jew or anything. It could have been Arabia, it could be anything. So they're like, Muslims are saying that the true way of worshiping God is what they are doing, not what the Jews are doing, not what the Christians are doing, but what they are doing. And so they identify their worship, or their way of worship, as Muslim people, and that makes them, their worship made them call themselves Muslim people. That is the name and the title they gave to their style of approach. That's how my understanding is. But if there is any other understanding, then it complicates things, because they were Jews. We all know that the Jews had original place where this Christ approach and all this thing is coming from, and Christians were picking things from there. So if Islam, the Quran, which is after the Bible, should be able to sort of follow suit, or somehow should have things that will link to it, and there are so many things that link to the scriptures of the Jew. So it's either the Jew has changed certain things, or Muhammad had did not accurately pass his message, or it was not recorded well, or somehow there were certain things left out, or certain things were changed. Maybe that can be the case. So if you read these things, you see it clearly written there to back what I'm saying to you and anybody out there. But the idea is that I can stand the fake of things, and I believe that the imitation of things might be something which has to be put to an end. It shouldn't be encouraged, because looking at it realistically, if you claim to have a belief or faith in God, or believe in God, and you are not seeking God, or you discover something which is not right in the Bible. Let's say I point out a few things that you came across the video and you saw it in the Bible, and you're a Christian. You rush to the head of a certain institution, and then you present it and say, okay, maybe you end up in the hands of the Pope, and it's okay. Then the new version, we have to change that thing. I think it's not right. We have to do a research and find out maybe we didn't do right, or find a reason why it came out that way. It's good. They can find whatever reason, but they have to be very honest and truthful. But I know they want to be, because most of the time people are protecting things, whether it being true lies or not. But this is not something that we protect through lies. We all have a responsibility to discover what the Spirit is about, to discover what the Spirit is trying to do. The Spirit says that man is not an enemy. It's not the enemy. At some point, the Spirit says man is the enemy. At the Bible, at the end of it, it says 666, the devil is going to be a man. But why should he tell you from the very beginning of Genesis and all through the Bible, even through the New Testament, that the man is being influenced in his sinful and wicked ways through spirit, and the Spirit is the embodiment of sin, and yet the Spirit is not going to be the one that is going to come out, but it is a man. So that whoever the man is going to be, that man is going to be just the presentation, or the shadow of the true spirit that is within him, is the true devil. And the spirit has to be stopped by God. I'm sure God knows where the spirits are. He could just, because when Jesus came into life, his life history tells us that his presence brought deliverance unto people. The spirits flee away. One time, even Muslims don't eat pig. I think it suggested that the pigs they cast demons out of man, and he entered into the pigs, and they don't eat it. I've even debated it with a group of claimed Christianity group, which also follow not to eat pigs because they think it's a defiled and it's evil possessed animal. And I challenge them with Timothy, the writings of Timothy, which suggests that all things are clean, and I think the book of Acts also, which tells when Peter somehow let down, what do you call it? Is it not the book of Acts? I think one of the books about the disciples telling a story of when he had a vision that Peter had in a vision where it was let down